This Sports Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
Everybody, welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with you here. Now I've got a very special guest, Elliott City's own Kendall Graveman. He's been doing a phenomenal job in Starkville for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and he just got some good news for himself here recently, being drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. It's my pleasure to welcome in Kendall Graveman. Kendall, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Listen, no problem. Thanks for being with us. First of all, congratulations to you. And before we get into the whole process of being drafted, et cetera, I know you're excited to go to Toronto and join the Blue Jays organization. Let's talk a little bit about Mississippi State and how they're doing. This interview, of course, is being taped, so Mississippi State probably will have come close to winning the whole thing by the time this airs. But I know you've got Oregon State coming up on Saturday, and you guys went to Virginia and just cleaned the Cavaliers' clocks. That had to feel very, very good.
Yes, sir, it was. And this team, you know, we've started hitting the ball well lately. We've pitched it well most all year. And, you know, this team's really come close together. And for me to be here, this is my fourth year at Mississippi State. And I know it just seems like I was graduating from Benjamin Russell, you know, a week ago. But, I mean, time flies when you're here. And for me to come and to be in this Mississippi State baseball program when I was a freshman and what we've done since then, me and the three other seniors that are left that have been here the whole time. And for us to be able to do things that we've done, it's been a really special time here at Mississippi State.
Kendall, I've really enjoyed the maturation of the SEC as a baseball conference as a whole. I remember when I was a lot younger, Mississippi State was pretty much it in terms of baseball. I mean, they were a great program. They've had so many fantastic players come through. And so I know their fans are well-versed and well-educated on the game. What's it like being a superstar on the Mississippi State roster right now, having so many big-time college baseball fans surrounding you at all times?
You're right. And like you said, the SEC has come a long way with fans of all kinds. And you know, every team out there is now beginning to generate more baseball fans. But one thing Mississippi State has always had is baseball fans, and they really do enjoy baseball. And for us to be playing this time of year, you know, that's what this program has missed for a few years. And, you know, we had 11, close to 12,000 people at a regional game. And you go to other sites and you don't get that. It don't matter what kind of game's being played or how big the game is. But for us to have that many people at a regional really shows how much people love baseball around this community. And, you know, for us to go to Omaha and there would be 25, close to 30, there may even be more than that at some games. So it's going to be a step for us that we've played in front of big crowds, and it's going to be an advantage to us, the things that we've seen already. So for them to come out and support us has really been big.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you were drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. You were drafted in the 8th round, and congratulations to you. But I heard there was an interesting story involving your being drafted. You actually thought you were going to be picked up by another team, didn't you?
Right, yeah. So, you know, you're going through the process. There's teams contacting you, and, you know, for me, just to stay humbled and to be honored and to have this privilege to be drafted. And, you know, leading up to the draft, I was getting contacted by several teams and things like that. And, you know, the day of the draft, the first day, of course, is the first 2 rounds. And there have been teams telling me you might go in the second day, which is the third round through the 10th round. The second day that's when it happens. So about the 7th round, we were eating as a team at Virginia's field. And they were in the 7th round, like I said. Miami Marlins called me and said, hey, we're looking at taking you in the 8th round. That's the team that drafted me the previous year. So I was like, okay, you know, they've showed interest 2 years in a row and things like that. And then he texted me back a few hours, half hour later and said, look, we're going to probably take you in the 9th round. Sorry we couldn't get you in the 8th, things like that. It just didn't work out. And that's how the draft goes sometimes. So you never know. It's kind of a mystery until your name is actually called. And then a guy from the Phillies called, and then a guy from the Red Sox called. So I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe one of those teams might pick me up. And we're going throughout the process. We get back to the hotel in Virginia. We're going over their hitters. We got a big game coming up the next day, and we're trying to stay focused on that. And there's several guys on my team that have got drafted already. So, all this is going on while we're trying to still stay focused on winning the Super Regional. And then we're sitting in there, and one of my teammates, starts clapping, says congratulations, and my whole pitching staff, and somebody that if I wasn't with my family celebrating that moment, the pitching staff of Mississippi State is who I wanted to be with. So for them to celebrate with me, the Blue Jays actually called and said, hey, we drafted you in the 8th round, and go enjoy your season and finish up your season, go to the College World Series, and have a good time. And we'll talk after that what the next step is. So for them to say that was really a comforting feeling that, hey, they're worried about what I'm doing now and not worried about, what I'll do in the Blue Jays organization. But for them to say, hey, I won't put this on your shoulders right now at this time of season. I'll wait till after was also, a blessing to be drafted by them.
Well, Canadians are known to be over-the-top nice. Maybe that's just part of their M.O., Kendall. But, again, and that is great news, and I know you were really happy about it. One thing that I thought about while reading this was, wouldn't it be better for the Major League Baseball if they would have this draft maybe after the World Series? I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be that big of a deal to put off the draft 2 weeks or maybe even have it a couple of weeks earlier, because the timing of this seems to be pretty bad, at least from your perspective. Now, it didn't affect Mississippi State, obviously. I mean, they go into Charlottesville and take care of business. But I could see definitely where a guy like you, you're thinking you go 7th, 8th, 9th round. You're waiting on pins and needles to see where you're going to be drafted because that's your career. Meanwhile, you're having to prepare for a pretty good Virginia ball club. I would like to see the draft moved to some other time. What are your thoughts on it?
Right. And, that question was asked a lot before leading up into the Super Regional. And, you hear Coach Cohen answer and say, he says, what if Nick Saban's players were getting drafted right as they were preparing for like a national championship? Or what if, the year Auburn went, Cam was getting drafted right before he was getting prepared to go to a national championship? What would they have done? And, for us to see that, it's hard for baseball because it's such a year-round sport. And, if you wait till after the end of the season, then you have high school kids trying to see if they still want to go to college, and they have a shorter amount of time to make a decision. And then you have people that are playing maybe like in the Cape Cod League or any summer league in America that are getting drafted. They go for 2 weeks and play in the summer ball, and then they go straight to an organization. So that hurts summer ball. So either way you look at it, it's going to be tough for someone to handle. But, for a Major League Baseball to have the draft in, I think that was, the best time they could choose. And it also helped, Adam Frazier got drafted on our team. He was a shortstop, got drafted as a junior in the 6th round. He came out and went 6 for 6 the next day. Hunter Renfroe got drafted in the 1st round from Mississippi State. He came out and went, it was like 4 for 5 or something like that the next day. So for a lot of guys, it kind of relieves you too. You don't have to worry about, hey, am I going to get drafted? When am I going to get drafted? So this time of year, once you get drafted, sometimes it takes a weight and a burden off your shoulder and says, man, cool, that's over now. I can just go out and have fun and play baseball and worry about it later. So you also have to look at that side of it also. Yeah,
that's a great point. I never thought of it that way, Kendall. But and going back to Toronto, of course, you've been talking to Miami, and I was just in Miami last January for the national championship game, and it is a fabulous place. There's no doubt about it. But you got to be a little happy that you're not going to an organization that they probably don't see as many fans in a 3-game series over a weekend as Mississippi State sees when they play, say, Alabama on any given Saturday.
Right. Yeah, and, I just prayed, and, from the blessings that's been poured upon me here at Mississippi State, and, my dad being a great model for me, just the prayer of, say, send me somewhere that I need to be. And for that to happen, and I don't know why I'm going to Toronto or why they drafted me, but I think there's a purpose for me there, not only baseball, but other aspects of life too. So, and to be able to start my journey in that organization, and it's kind of funny because we have 2 guys from Canada on our Mississippi State team this year that are freshmen, and they were all happy and excited that me and another pitcher got drafted by Toronto. I was in the 8th, and my buddy that pitches with me was in the 9th round. So we'll be starting that journey together, and it's also a comforting feeling knowing that you'll be starting that journey with someone that you've played with for 4 years. And that's also a pretty neat story. We took 2 Canadians and made them Mississippi State fans, and now we're about to start a journey in the organization that we've always grown up loving.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize you had a teammate going with you. That's great, Kendall. Have you done any homework on Toronto yet? I mean, I know you're probably focused on the College World Series, but have you started practicing saying A or anything?
Yeah, I mess with them all the time, the Canadians, and when they found out, they were all excited, saying, "Hey, we know such and such, and this organization, he's playing low A ball for the Blue Jays, and we know somebody that's playing double A ball." And they're like, if you ever come across them, tell them we said hello. And we played with, they were good naming off all kind of people, and so that was also, just something that reassured me that these people are going to be great to me, and for them to say that their organization is great. And the 2 kids I'm talking about actually played for the Canadian national team for their age group, and they were also named the Toronto Blue Jays, so they feel like they're already a part of the family. And but just to have ties somehow with that organization already is a pretty neat experience.
Well, Kendall, we wish you the best of luck. You've got a huge following here in Alexander City. We're going to start a Toronto Blue Jay fan club right here in Tallapoosa County, and we'll be pulling for you all the time, bud. And thanks so much for being with us. We're going to have you on again, okay?
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
Good luck. Go Bulldogs.
All right, thanks.
That was Kendall Graveman. Of course, he's with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. They'll be taking on Oregon State this weekend, and wish him all the best of luck. And, of course, he'll be a Toronto Blue Jay after that, and he's going to have a fabulous career. I just know it.